Alright, let's continue to look at this review sheet, and now we're going to look at questions 3 and 4. So both 3 and 4 are questions on solving the equations. So let's look at 3a first. So if we want to solve this equation, the first thing that we want to do whenever we solve a trigonometric equation is to get the trigonometric part by itself. So the sine of pi over 3 x minus 2 pi is equal to, well, if we subtract 8 and divide both sides by 6, we get 1/2, which we can call 0.5. So now, to get this part by itself, we have to take the inverse sine. Pi over 3 minus 2 pi is equal to the inverse sine of 0.5. So pi over 3 is equal to 0.524. And because we know that there are two angles that have the same sign on the unit circle, pi over 3 minus 2 pi is equal to 2.618. And the way that we found that was, we know that angles with the same sign have the same y value, so pi minus 0.524. Now, if we're solving this equation here, because there were no parentheses here, the order of operations, we're going to add 2 pi to both sides. And now if we multiply both sides by 3 over pi. So same thing over here. Let's add 2 pi to both sides. And we're going to get pi over 3. I left out an x. Pi over 3x is equal to 8.901. Multiply both sides by 3 over pi. And here x is equal to 8.5. Now notice that it says to find all. So p, the length of that cycle, is equal to 2 pi divided by b. 2 pi divided by b, pi over 3, well, instead of thinking about it as 2 pi divided by pi over 3, whenever we divide by a fraction, 2 pi, we can think about that as multiplied by the reciprocal, so times 3 over pi instead, and the length of this cycle would be 6. So to both of these, we could add 6 as many times as we want, and we'd get another answer that was a solution to the equation. So plus 6n for both the original 6.5 and the 8.5. We're solving another equation that involves sine. So whenever we're solving a trigonometric equation, we get the trigonometric part by itself, the sine of 2 pi over 7 x minus 3 is equal to, subtract 4 and divide by 50.4. So 2 pi over 7 x minus 3 is equal to the inverse sine of 0.4. 412 rather. And because this is a trigonometric equation, we know that there are two angles that have the same sign. So 2 pi over 7 times x minus 3 is equal to 2.729. And we got that by, again, pi minus 0.412. So now on this one, to get the x minus 3 by itself, because of the order of operations, we're going to first want to multiply by the reciprocal. So we first multiply by the reciprocal, both sides. X minus 3 is equal to 0.459. And then we can add 3 to both sides. If we multiply both sides here by 7 over 2 pi, x minus 3 is equal to 3.04, x is equal to 6.04. P get some more room for this. P is equal to 2 pi divided by 2 pi over 7. But what we said before, if we thought about that as 2 pi times 7 over 2 pi, these 2 pi's are going to cancel, and we get that the length of that cycle is 7. So plus 7n plus 7n. Alright, we're solving trigonometric equations again, but now we're solving them in terms, solving trigonometric equations involving cosine for question 4. So we get this by itself, the cosine of 4x minus 2 is equal to negative 1/2. We're going to add over by 5, subtract negative 10. So 4x minus 2 is equal to the inverse cosine of negative 1/2. 4x minus 2 is equal to 2.06094, and 4x minus 2 is equal to 4.189. Now when we're working with cosine, angles that have the same cosine have the same x value. So 2 pi minus 2.094. That's how we got that number there. Let's add 2 to both sides. 4x is equal to 4.094. X is equal to 1.024. Same thing over here. Let's add 2 to both sides. 4x is equal to 6.189. X is equal to 1.547. Now P is equal to 2 pi over B. So 2 pi over 4 reduces to pi over 2, so we have to add pi over 2 times any integer onto this one, and pi over 2 times any integer to this one. So we get all of the solutions to this equation. Alright, one more, just straight up solving, again in terms of cosine. So if we want to solve this equation, let's get the trigonometric part by itself by subtracting 4 and dividing by 5. The cosine of 2 pi times x plus 1 is equal to 0.8. So 2 pi times x plus 1 is equal to the inverse cosine of 0.8. 2 pi times x plus 1 is equal to 0.644. And because there are two angles that have the same cosine, 2 pi times x plus 1 is equal to 5.639. And again, because this was cosine, we're looking for angles that have the same x value or add up to 2 pi, so 0.644. Now to get x by itself, the order of operations say that I have to divide both sides by 2 pi first, so we'll divide both sides by 2 pi. X plus 1 is equal to 0.102. If we add 1 to both sides, add 1, x is equal to 1.102, and here, divide by 2 pi, x plus 1 is equal to 0.897, gotta add 1 to both sides, x is equal to 1.897. Now we can't forget about having to find all of the answers, so p is equal to 2 pi divided by b. Well, 2 pi divided by 2 pi is equal to 1. So plus